think you would have as many followers if you didn't take your top off?
That's what she said to me as well, by the way.
Do you know what?
We're in the same camp.
There's only one video where I've got the top off, and it was 32 degrees.
We need
it was
more.
Red hot.
I want more.
I put it up anyway. I went to sleep. Next day I woke up. Phone was absolutely wild. Notifications, followers, likes, comments.
Just went completely viral.
That got me hard last week. Horrible. It got me hard.
Welcome to Talk Horse.
I'll gallop through the highs and lows of the equestrian world.
I'm Pippa Funnell. I've been eventing for 40 years and I'm also an author of a series of children's books, Pippa's Ponytails. And I love writing about how to look after your ponies and the responsibilities you have.
That's probably about my level, actually. I need a copy of these. I'm Tristan Phipps. You may recognise me from Made in Chelsea. However, there is a reason I'm here. I'm the voice of the horse curious. I'm a nature lover, wildlife enthusiast, and I'm here to learn from the best.
And today we've got a whole new branch of the horse world for you to learn about.
And I can't wait. So whether you're a seasoned rider, horse curious like me, or just passionate about horses, this is definitely the podcast for you.
Saddle up and join our equestrian community and let's talk horse. Tristan, welcome back. And it's good to see that you're over your man flu.
That got me hard last week. Horrible. It got me hard.
Well,
why did you make it awkward? You could have just carried on like usual. As in, the flu got me hard. It got me good.
You said that.
Your eyes told 1,000 stories. I thought I was the cheeky one. Woo. Great to see you, Pippa. I haven't got man flu anymore. I'm over it.
But your tan's fading.
Is it?
Yeah, your tan's going. And for anyone listening out there, you actually can't see, but Tristan's arrived in his tuxedo, looking very smart.
Thank you.
Monday morning, I've been
at a black tie ball in Whitehall.
On a Monday morning. It must have been really good, was it?
Promise it wasn't from the weekend. I promise. I've been filming Made in Chelsea. But also I wanted to make an effort for you because you always look so fabulous.
Oh.
I thought I'd probably, try and show you that you can polish a turd.
And you didn't notice that I'm looking a bit of...
I think you look beautiful, as you always do.
I don't.
You always do.
But anyway, I've actually got a leopard skin belt on.
Where are you going with this?
And so dressed a bit more safari-fied.
Thank you. Was that for me? I've gone Rupert Campbell-Black for you.
Actually, talking about Rupert Campbell-Black, my husband did... he did some of the work for riders, as in the bit of the stunt work side, doing a lot of the riding, and he actually was Rupert Campbell-Black's double.
So just to understand the situation, obviously I've watched Rivals recently, which has just come out. Great show. Are we talking about a different Rupert Campbell-Black?
Yeah, we are talking, going back a long time, we're talking about Riders, the Jilly Cooper Riders, when that came out on television.
Okay.
And that was back, it was the year we got married, 1993. It was very amusing because someone had a real wind-up with him and said that before William got involved, they said that Rupert Campbell-Black was very tanned, had stubble, and that William, and they sent him some fake tan in the post and said he had
sent
to
William some fake tan?
grow his stubble and have fake tan. So
Please tell me you helped him with that.
I didn't, but he did do it.
I can imagine you with a mitt just giving a little...
And then when he went out for the filming,
Yeah.
he met this clean-shaven blonde guy, and this guy must have thought, what am I looking at? Some guy looking orange from fake tan and stuff.
So good.
So someone had played a wind-up with him.
That's quite a cool flex, though. Your husband's like,
It was when I first
Rupert
met
Campbell-Black
him.
body double.
He did, and he supplied all the horses for riders all those years ago, a long time ago. So
You've got a very exciting life.
well, William's really busy at the moment because he last year taking on the UAE team, the United Arab Emirates, and was there in Paris with them. And the last couple of months he's been out there in Sharjah and Abu Dhabi, and they've got a sort of tour of sort of 2 months worth of shows. And last week they had the 4-star Nations Cup. It was a team of 4 show jumping. And it was the first one of 2025, first Nations Cup. And it was really good because William was wearing his coaching training hat as well, but he was also a member of the British team. and they were winners.
So the British team were winners?
Yeah, and he jumped to double clear. Wow. But why I'm mentioning it to you, because another of the team member, Joe Stockdale, was jumping Santorini, Billy Santorini,
the horse I met.
who you met at the London International Horse Show. And Santorini was jumping in his first Nations Cup, and he had one down the first round and then clear. But the team of William and Joe and two girls, Georgia Tame and Lily Atwood, they
won.
They won, and so that was brilliant. And William was obviously on a homebred Billy as well. So I produced both horses as young horses, so it was lovely to see them go so well.
Amazing.
So the UAE team were actually second, so they'll be coming over and basing themselves in England for a bit.
So you see more of your husband then?
And I think what's exciting, what is exciting is
I get to spend time with my husband.
I'm going to see my husband. So that's really good news.
That saved you there.
But yes, you did. But what's exciting is that more and more we're seeing more going on in sort of other areas of the world. As I often say, William and I are both passionate about passing on our experience and promoting correct training and how people deal with their horses, and that's what's really nice. So what else have you been doing then?
What have I been doing? I've been thinking about South Africa a lot, planning the world domination, the move into the wildlife presenting world. Obviously, doing a lot of homework about the equestrian world. I do feel like I'm getting better.
Learning?
Honest opinion, do you think I'm getting slightly more knowledgeable in this field?
Well, can you remember what windsucking and high blowing?
Of course I can.
Very good. So with your ailing, how did you cope? Because I know for us riders and in the equestrian world.
Can I be included in that?
Not quite.
Like on the periphery of the equestrian world?
Not quite.
Looking
not
in,
quite.
like sitting on the sideline?
No, because you don't yet know, like with your man flu, when you've then got to go out and ride X amount of horses and spend all day outside.
Well, invite me up. I want to do some manual labour. I need to toughen these hands up a little bit.
Yeah, we're getting...
Listen, let me do some shoveling of manure. Yeah, shoveling. Let's start at the bottom and I'll work my way up. Maybe like a quick working up kind of thing.
I think it is important that's where you're learning, because you're realising you've got to start right at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm used to being humbled. I embarrass myself on TV daily. I've been humbled throughout my whole life. So this is something I would actually quite enjoy.
Okay, we'll start you right at the bottom.
Right at the bottom.
No, I mean, it's that's what I often say to these youngsters that come and sadly nowadays there's an awful lot of youngsters that come into the sport or get involved with ponies and horses that think you're instantly going to have a lot of success, and they have to understand that a lot of time, a lot of experience, and then no shortcuts at all. I
respect it. I also appreciate that maybe you've included me in the youngsters category there, which is quite nice. Am I? I'd probably be
you're sort
too
of
old to
a little bit.
Okay, now our guest today is someone I'm absolutely fascinated to hear more about. It's a whole new part of the horse world I haven't really experienced before. I have seen him on social media. I don't know if you have. He's quite a handsome chap who is often without shirt, which, is the reason I'm wearing a waistcoat and a jacket today. I didn't want him to, I thought I'd wear more clothes so he could feel more comfortable taking them off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to hearing his story and where it started for him. And yes, I mean, he has got
over 1 million followers.
Over 1 million followers. He's got a lot more than you, Tristan.
He's got a lot more than me. I wonder what it could be.
So maybe
sexy man with a shirt off, being all manly.
So, but it'd be interesting to hear his side of the shoeing and
that was quite a good pun. Was that a pun?
No, shoeing? I missed the pun. Sorry.
Sort of hoofing about. No, I'm very excited. I'm probably going to have to change beforehand, though, I think.
Well, go outside before you change. Or can you change outside, please? As much as obviously he appeals to a lot of people by having his shirt off, hopefully. Actually, what is it with you guys? Because you're same on Instagram. You often have to take your tops off. So anyway,
I've got 98% of my viewers are women, Pippa. I've got to play to my strengths. That's the truth.
Well, we'll ask him. I'm sure.
I'm sure he's got a better reason for it.
But anyway, let's discuss the shoeing and the farrier side of things.
Should we meet Sam Wolfenden?
Let's talk horse with Sam Wolfenden.
Let's talk horse.
Sam, thank you so much. Welcome to Talk Horse.
No, thanks for having me, Pippa.
First podcast.
Yeah, my first podcast today. Yeah.
Will be really nice. It's
Yeah,
an
go
absolute
easy
pleasure.
on there. Go easy on there.
This is a safe space.
Yeah,
it's a lovely
safe space.
space.
It's
And we're all
cozy
about
in
the
here.
horses. It's nice, isn't it?
It's very
Cozy, yeah.
Have you
cosy.
seen our branded Talk Horse mugs? We've obviously got one there.
Yeah,
Quite cool.
It's a cool mug.
They got those made for us. So I guess, okay, so let's dive straight into it. Obviously, you are a farrier.
Yeah.
International social media sensation. A lot of followers on there.
Yeah.
Over
As,
a million now, isn't it?
Over a
Yeah,
million.
It's kind of blown up. I never expected it to go the way it's going, but it's good fun, and I really do enjoy making the videos and stuff like that.
Obviously, the farrier is a family business, is that right?
Yeah, so my dad's been a farrier for like 5 years. It's all I've ever known. I grew up sort of with it, and then just like through school holidays, obviously, my mum was at work. My dad would take me and my sister to the yard, and we would just have his bike in the back, or I was only like 5, 6 young years old, and like we'd go play. Easy childcare. Anyway, then I got a little bit older, and then like just giving him an hand, and I got dead interested in it, and it's all I ever really wanted to do.
Did you used to hold the feet up for him?
No, not when I was that young, but yeah, like I just passing tools, and I was really interested in it. I just felt like I didn't really think about much.
Well,
else.
I guess it is in your blood, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So just to caveat, Sam, you probably are wondering what I'm doing here. I am the voice of the horse curious, maybe not as dialed up as you guys. So for everyone out there who doesn't know what a farrier is, can you just explain?
We take care of the horses' hooves,
Yeah.
and we make sure that they're trimmed correctly, protected correctly, balanced correctly, and that the horse can move as optimal as possible.
You had to do a course, obviously.
Yeah, so
so from going around with Dad, obviously learning the trade from
Yeah,
your
so
father, then there's a strict course that you have to do,
Yeah, so there's a 4-year apprenticeship
right?
that you do, and you sign up with your boss, and you'll go to college every 6 months. You go away for about 3 weeks, 3 months,
Yeah.
3 weeks, and then 6 months back at work, 3 weeks away, 6 months back at work, and you do that over 4 years. And it's good. The apprenticeship scheme is pretty good. It's spread out like that because you need to have like so many hours experience really to start progressing.
I guess with that experience, obviously you're so much dependent on who you're taught by. Obviously with your father, I know the role of coaching from a point of view of coaching young riders and things. You've got to, the more experience that person knows that you're learning from is key really to how
Yeah, absolutely.
how
Yeah, experience is worth a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And my dad did a really good job of teaching me as well. And I learned loads of different people as well. I really enjoyed, and even now I still go work with other farriers. And, like I ring them up, I'm like, I've seen you work, I think it looks great. Can I just come out here for a day? Don't want anything, like just let me shadow you and teach you some things. It's great.
It's actually, I think, quite important that farriers have that role in educating horse owners as well.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
importance. I mean, I know I've got a great team of farriers, or I have one in particular, but the Billy Stud, we have 3 different farriers. And I very much work with them, and they're very much interested in how the horses are feeling. And I will often say to my farrier, not often, every time he shoes a horse, I'll say, does he feel okay, or does she feel okay?
Yeah.
And he can often will say, oh, well, actually, it's a little bit stiffer picking up that back leg.
Yeah, you can
And
feel
then
it,
you can
yes.
link it to, actually, when I'm riding it, do you find you notice different,
Yeah, especially if he's a horse, like I can see some horses every month.
Yeah.
So let's say, that the horse I'm treating, let's say it's called Billy the Cob. And I'm
yeah,
picking
good name. I'm going
I'm
to
picking
take that
up
home
Billy's
with me.
back foot. You know what? Billy's a bit reluctant today, but that's not like Billy. Usually Billy's really good and gives his leg. He's obviously a little bit tight, and I'm like, he did feel tight on his right hind, and she's like, oh yeah, he's been a little bit off that recently, and then it correlates, and I'm like, maybe give the physio a little call, get them come out and have a look and explore that, and yeah, It's
So
good to have
there is
a
that
good
connection with the horse kind of.
Yeah, we should all be like one team, like your physio, your vet, the owner, me. We all have the similar interests to the best interests of the horse. And it's good when you can just communicate like that.
And did you ever ride yourself?
Do you know what? I did briefly when I was younger, but I actually...
You thought you'd just rather spend your life
so
breaking your back, bending over, picking up.
Do you know what it was? I just could never get into the mucking out sort of side of it. When my sister did, and my mum was very much like, if you're going to have a horse, you do it all. Or you don't have one. Yeah.
Quite
just
right.
And I was like,
lesson.
I just wanted to turn up, jump on the horse, ride it round, jump off, see you next week.
That's why I went for motorbikes.
Yeah, that's it.
But I'm learning the area of my ways.
Yeah, so I never was that greatly involved.
That connection with the horse, though, because obviously you spend a lot of your waking hours with horses. You know, do you find that there's a moment when you connected with the animal?
Yeah, like most of my horses, I was saying, a lot of them feel like they are my horses because I see them so much, and like I have a good relationship with them. Like I pull them on yards and they're like winning and stuff, and like they know who I am because they remember. Horses definitely remember who you are. That's why it's important they have a really nice experience with you. Like they are the most important client, not just the owner. So it's important that you get a good relationship with them. And it is nice because I see their journey. I think it's quite sad really because I've been doing the job now 16 years. I've started with some horses from young and they were like be 2-3 years old, maybe, from foals. And now they get into 20 years old and and I'm thinking, when did you get so old? Do you know what I mean? When did you get
been doing this for so long?
Yeah, like when did they get so... And I've seen their whole career of such. And
I know. I know that.
I feel attached to them. I honestly feel attached to them.
It's so nice. We have so many different guests on this podcast as well from so many different parts of the equestrian world. And like, this is a whole ecosystem where every single person is so integral.
Yeah.
And like the role of a farrier for me is obviously you spend a lot of time with horses and so do you, but I don't so much. So it's fascinating to kind of learn how it all works kind of, and how it all comes together. So obviously family business, but was there a moment when you were like, this is what I want to do? Like, this is the lifestyle, because obviously it's a very active lifestyle. You're kind of connected with nature and the outdoors, like, and I'm very much about that as well. Yeah. Is that kind of what pushed you in that direction?
There's never a dull moment at work. Like the only way I can describe it, it's organised chaos. Like you literally, I was saying to Mitch, like I know I've got like 20 hours worth of work, right? Yeah. But I'm only really supposed to do work for 12. So then I'm like just running at it and hoping it makes sense. But it's good and I enjoy. There's a lot of job satisfaction as well. Yeah. Do you know, like helping these horses and seeing them do well and fixing their issues. It is very satisfying. And I've never got like this and think, one more time clock off because you just run out of time every day. Yeah,
but I think that's something that in the horse world we all have in common. And that's, when they talk about hours worked and the amount of hours you should work a day, with horses, you can't do that. If you're passionate, I don't, whether it's a farrier, whether it's a groom, whether it's riders, horses, you don't watch, if you really are passionate about it, you don't clock watch. You can't clock watch. Yeah. To do a good job, you can't clock watch.
Yes. And that's what I do say to be honest. I'm quite well known for being a little bit late. With my clientele, they would tell you that, but I'm always like, it's hard to give the specific amount of time to each horse, because if I'm with a horse, and let's say it's booked for an hour, but then for some reason this mare has got a really bad bruised heel or something, or there's an issue that I need to, that's another 30 minutes. But I'm not going to leave till it's right. And I would say to the next client, you wouldn't really want me to shortchange your horse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Like, sometimes I am a bit late, but it's because it's a job where I can't always be like,
it's because you're doing your job.
Of course, some things pop up and it takes a little bit longer.
Okay, so we've figured out the connection to the equestrian world, kind of family life, and it's kind of in your blood. How did you then transition kind of into this social media world? Because obviously, like, you've got a huge following, very engaged. Yeah. Obviously, I'm sure being a handsome man probably also as well.
Yeah, that must have a little bit to do with it.
No, but it's amazing. I've been looking at your content. And it's really well shot, and it's it's very well thought through, and it's educational, and obviously you're hitting all the demographics. I'm interested. Pippa's definitely interested.
Do you think you would have as many followers if you didn't take your top off?
That's what you said to me as well, by the way.
Do you know what?
We're in the same camp.
There's only one video where I've got my top off, and it was 32 degrees.
We need more.
It was red hot.
I want more.
It was red. My clients always say, like, get your top off. I'm like, it needs to be 25 degrees plus to get the top off.
The top bit doesn't appeal to me. What actually really appealed to me not the bottom bit. What appealed to me, I actually loved it when I just looked, I have to say, I feel a bit frumpy, but I obviously looked when I heard you were coming on the podcast, And the thing that really appealed to me was while you were shoeing and the horse you were shoeing was sort of scratching the back of your neck, and it was just so sweet because it was just a lovely reaction, and you just were happy having him nuzzling you, and that straight away, I thought, oh, this guy's all right. This guy, the horses clearly like him, and to me, that's one of the most important things, that people are good with animals, people are good with horses.
Because definitely, like the horsemanship side of it's very important. Like having the animal happy and relaxed makes my job so much easier. Do you know what I mean? And they definitely do. Some enjoy it. Some like that's nice to see it, and I do think that it is important that you spend time with the horse, get to know the horse, you find out what it likes. I mean, for example, I've got some horses where I know them that well. If I were to turn up at 8:30 in the morning to shoe, this horse in particular, it wouldn't stand there for love nor money. But if I come at 3:30 p.m. when she's had a stretch of legs in the field, she's seen her friends, she'll stand like a dream. And it's just getting to know them all on an individual basis like that. And it is nice. I think the horsemanship side of it's important.
And I think that's particularly so for listeners out there. Obviously, a huge amount of the listeners out there are very much in the world and understand the shoeing. But for those that don't, obviously, particularly when you're dealing with young horses that have maybe been shod or trimmed for the first time, it's quite an ordeal for them, and how you interact with them to make those first experiences good experiences. Because if they obviously have a bad experience the first time with a blacksmith or a farrier,
then that can stay with them. Time, yeah, I think that's sometimes that can be overlooked. Some people just have a busy day, they go and grab the foot, they get on with it. But like spending that extra 15 minutes with the horse, saying hello, is very important. Giving him maybe a little bit of a treat, because then every time you come, like, this guy feeds me sweets, he's all right. He can have my leg, And it's just getting that time with them, training them to get used to it. It's important. I mean, I've had many horses come to me where I'm like, the last farrier couldn't do it, or some people be like, oh, I can't believe you're going to go there to that horse because it's bad. And then I've, spent a few times with them and it's not that bad at all. Just think it was just a little bit misunderstood sometimes.
This is the key message, that the podcast is there to get out there, that doing the right thing by the horse. And I think, you going back to the Instagram, I think it's a great way. You've got a very large reach, but to you have an important role to educate, and pass on that message.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that leads me, to the other point. How's things changed since you kind of? I want to know the journey from kind of like how you started kind of getting into the social media world and how things have changed since then.
Basically, I had social media like on a private level for many years, and then I actually watched a Netflix documentary about how it sucks a lot of your time up. I was like, this is really weird. Like it does. Like I'm scrolling all the time. So I deleted it. So I did have social media for like 18 months, 2 years. Like completely had a break. Super productive. But then I was like, oh, God, I really would like a business page to show like my work, because I'm very proud in the jobs I've done. And it's nice to have like these case studies where you can be like, this was the first time and now we're here. This is the improvement. Yeah. It's good to showcase that as a portfolio to potential new clients in the future. And so I started that and I did a couple of photos and it was like nothing like my friend liking it, or, my dad looked here. And then I posted a video of me. It was actually a Shire horse. So there's a big Shire horse I was shoeing, and my mate was like,
you'd have to be quite strong to.
Yeah. One of the younger lads were like, you should film this, And I was like, what do you mean? Like, it's really interesting. Like you should film it and put it on there. And I was like, all right, yeah, go on then. Pass him my phone. I was like, film it, and I was shooting it. Anyway, I went home, and what's funny is I didn't even like edit this video. You like had an option to like clip it automatically. So I clicked it, I didn't know how I edited at the time. I clipped it like into 15, 20 seconds or something. It was only a really short clip, and it had like a Justin Bieber song on top of it.
What was the song?
I can't remember.
You won't be.
No, it wasn't that. Anyway, it was quite a viral song, and I put it up. Anyway, I went to sleep. Next day I woke up. The phone was absolutely wild. Notifications, followers, likes, comments, and he was just going absolutely nuts.
Just went completely viral.
Yeah, just nuts. And I thought, maybe that's just a one-off. Then didn't really post up for 3 weeks. I was like busy working again. Then I made another video. And that just seemed to do pretty good as well. And then,
So the followers are going up at this point.
yeah,
They're
it's
getting
all
more
going
traction,
up. And it was done very sort of casually for a while. But people were just getting really good reception every time. And like really did like watching it.
So then do you feel like you've kind of tailored it now to be more of kind of like...
Yeah, it's definitely for, like, I first would say I'd start off because it's for like a farrier to look at or a potential client. Whereas now it's
for
more for the
ladies.
general public.
For
Yeah.
everyone now.
Yeah, well, it's more for...
Yeah, is it?
Do you know what it is as well? It's more for non-horse people. They're
Yeah.
more the people that are more interested. I've had friends for like 20 years and they're like, man, I knew you were farrier, but I didn't know that's what
it
you
meant,
do.
yeah.
Like, that's wild. Like, they're like, you nail into his foot, like you burn on his foot. Like, what's that? And it's just showing it, the trade off a little bit and getting some awareness because it is a trade that's, you know, not very busy. It's not the most desirable job in the world. You don't
Well,
get-
as I said, it's pretty tough
it's
on
brutal.
you physically,
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
very brutal.
Looks
Like
pretty
your
good on
back
the
hurts.
video.
I mean,
Well, yeah, but he's young still.
yeah,
Sorry.
but even then, I do have like some back problems, like aching a little bit. I never feel 100% in my back, but it's good to bring some awareness to it to get more younger people involved in it. I do think that's important.
Do you feel like it's one of those kind of... Well, obviously, you know, there'll always be a huge demand for farriers, but like, I feel like a lot of these kind of more hands-on physical trades that have to be passed down, and obviously it's a family
Yes.
business for you. Do you feel like that's kind of going a little bit and you're trying to get people more involved in learning it the proper way?
Definitely, it is a little bit. I mean, we used to get a lot more interest. Like, for example, my dad trains apprentices. We used to get like letters all the time, text messages, people like, please can I have a job? I mean, it's quite hard to get a job because my dad only usually would employ 2 people at a time, and they were obviously here for 4 years. So the opening to become one is very small. But like, we don't really get the same people applying anymore. It's quite it's a bit quieter these days.
I think it's actually quite a worrying trend because I think we're seeing this.
We've got loads of horses.
I
Got
know.
way too many horses.
No,
But
horses.
it's,
We need
it's
more
the same
farriers.
with whether it's grooms or a lot of
Yeah.
people that need to sort of specialise in.
I think, yeah, these highly specialised skills that need to be kind of taught and be hands-on
What
and
do you
passed
think?
down.
What do you think that? What is it? Do you think it is the hours or
I
what?
think it's
People are quite lazy now, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know. It's also like to do with the system. I think the system's a little bit tricky these days with obviously people that train apprentices. The apprentices back in the day used to get paid a little bit less.
Is there
materials
and
cost
there's
a
also,
lot.
do you think, a lot of red tape around the system?
Yeah, a little bit. It's hard to get into. It's hard to get into, and even the people that can get you in now, there's less and less people training just because like it's inexpensive. It's expensive to train people nowadays, and
How do you feel like the business, because obviously it's a family business, has that changed from the social media growing, and like, is that
do you
something
know
that
what?
you kind
No,
of...
obviously it has. Is in a lot more people know who I am, for example. But the funny thing is, we were already very well established from my dad being in the area for 45 years.
Yeah.
And I was already like fully booked. Really, I never really have a booking.
Yeah.
Ever. But so the social media side, it kind of made that a little bit worse, I would say. People more trying to ring up. I am very like honest with people, and like if something comes up, like if a horse moves on, I can get you in, or you know, if you're already on a yard map, then we can make that work. But in terms of I'll get more opportunities like coming down here to see you guys. Some people, they're just like watching it and they have no horse, they have no clue. They
What do
have
you
no
reckon
idea.
it is? What is it from the
I
whole
think
experience that brings people in?
It's so different.
I got sucked in for hours.
Yeah,
You
now.
don't
I'm
think it's
scrolling
the
through your
tattoos
page.
or anything?
Yeah, well, I think it's more the horses and the job that sell it, and maybe how I present it. It's a combination, but it's not just like, because I look at the camera and smile. Because if I did that without the horses, I don't think I'd be anywhere near.
I just looked at.
I think the little ponies help. The little ponies,
Little ponies always help.
The little ponies help. The ponies do well. We were talking about there's this little Shetland called Black Baby Velvet, and she is only 20
Baby
inches tall.
Velvet?
Yeah, she's
I
only
saw
20
her on
inches
Instagram.
tall. She's
tiny.
absolutely
Oh.
tiny.
A little bow.
And I'll trim this. I've trimmed it 3 times. So I've done Baby Velvet part 1, part 2, part 3. Every time I film this pony, she just gets all the views because she's so cute.
No. Must be odd. 1 minute if you
A big show
if
horses.
you show it
Oh,
straight
yeah.
after the show horse.
Yeah, that is.
You'd be picking it up and throwing it over your
Yeah.
shoulders.
yeah,
stronger.
yeah.
What's your favourite horse to shoe?
Quite a few. I mean, like, I really like shoeing. I look after some Frisians at a farm near me, and they do a lot of like commercial driving jobs, like, you know, funerals and weddings.
And a few not so favourites. Have you been kicked a few times? Is
Yeah,
there a
I've been
tally?
kicked a few times. Do you know what? You actually get good at not getting kicked though.
Or, like, dodging?
Like you stand in a certain way by the side of the horse where It's a bit too close to their hip where they can actually get you that well.
So on the inside.
Yeah, so they're not gonna. Yeah, but I have been kicked, and it's always the ones that don't kick that kick you. Like I've been kicked. Honestly, the ones that are a bit feisty.
I knew you kicked. I was expecting it from you.
The ones that are a bit feisty, you know, they're no kick. Don't you're not going to get kicked by because you're ready.
Yeah.
You know, like I was once
So
with.
they lull you into a false sense of security.
Yeah.
Well, it's body language, isn't it? You
Body
sort
language,
of.
yeah.
What I always find amazing when I watch my farrier shoe, Ralph Renison, whenever any farrier shoes, it all just seems, obviously they're very well practiced at it, but whenever I've got a horse that maybe its shoes half hanging off, the blacksmith's not there, the farrier's not there to do it, and I have to sort of get out my tools to do it. And when you're doing it, and okay, I admit I'm not trained, but you always worry that the horse is going to put its foot down just when they shouldn't when you're and it's actually really I find it really difficult. Next one you do, could you do
Social
a
media expert
little post and
Little
say,
demo.
okay, this is for
Well, you can't
old
encourage someone
ladies
who's not
like
a farrier to be a farrier.
Mrs. Funnell in a state of emergency. These are the tools you need, and this is what you should do just quickly.
Yeah,
if you can't
that's
get
good content
if
idea.
you
That I
can't
like
get
that. I like
a
that.
blacksmith out,
Social media manager.
there we go.
It could be a thing.
That's a good
Exactly,
idea.
because we never have the chaps, we never have the gear, and you're sort of trying to rest a foot on your knee, and your breeches are
I
quite
do
thin.
think
And
this was something we were talking a while ago, but I do think every yard should have like a little first aid kit to take a shoe off. You know,
well, I
like-
do,
you know,
but
like a
it
few
doesn't make
tools
me
and some
good at
chaps.
doing
Yeah, I
it.
suppose. Yeah,
Can I ask a technical question? A horse's hoof is it keratin, right?
yeah.
So it's the
It's like
same
a
as
big
your hair
massive.
and
If you
nails.
just
Very
imagine,
good.
Yeah.
if you imagine, you've done your research here, and it's just like a big fingernail that's all the way around it.
And it's an ungulate foot structure, is that correct?
Yeah. I
So
think
they walk on a modified nail. How deep is that? Is that all nail on the top?
How deep would they? No, you'd be talking a
the
couple.
nail goes in
a
quite-
couple of centimeters, really.
It's
Yeah,
quite.
You've got a few layers, yeah, and
Yeah.
then you'll get to your sensitive areas pretty.
And that's where the nerves are.
Yeah, and that's how like we had this question the other day at work, and it was pretty good. It was like, does a horse feel with their feet? And yeah, they do feel. They feel with their soul,
Only
and
in
they
the-
feel by more pressure.
Okay.
So they don't like feel things. You know, like we would like rub that. I'm like, oh, that's soft.
That's quite nice. Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
It's a nice sofa, isn't it?
but they feel the load through the sole, and they have nerves under the sole. You've got your sensitive sole basically, and they can tell
the
what
kind of pressure and the...
what's harder, what's softer.
It's quite a fascinating world, this farrier world of like marrying this kind of biology background with like a hands-on kind of blacksmithing role.
Yeah,
and then putting
it's
them all
something
together.
that I've had to learn. Like I was always super interested in doing the job, right? Love swinging the hammer,
Yeah.
love hitting the mail, love doing the horses.
I'd love that bit.
But the actual textbook side of it was a bit more challenging for me. But as I got older and more into it,
Yeah.
I like, let's say I've even now learning, like in no way, shape or form am I a master of my craft. I'm very young in the industry still, really. And I'm learning a lot. I would say experience is worth so much because I've managed to like treat so many issues now. And like I might have track laminitis like hundreds of times now, but I've used so many different techniques on different ways and I've learned a lot from it. I think that's been really good. But I'm still learning loads. The depth of this job is unimaginable. Like you wouldn't think it was that deep, like, but it's deep.
Well, I
like
mean,
you
it
can
seems-
learn,
it
you can
does
go
seem
really
like a
far with
very-
this.
That's another common thing we've said a lot over all the episodes is you
It's
never stop learning.
You never stop learning, and I'm still a student.
And what do you think the other farriers, obviously, you know, you've got such a high profile name now through your Instagram and through social media. Influencers have such a huge part to play. I really do think about influencing in the correct way. But do you think other farriers look at it as a very positive thing that you're taking how you do it?
Yeah,
and to
absolutely. I think I've only heard nothing but nice things. I mean,
That's
sure, I've
really
read a few
good.
jokes, a few colleagues have mentioned funny things, but you know, it's all nice. It's all nice stuff.
Well, it has. I mean, it's a positive
I mean,
thing.
you're shining a spotlight on a really important
Yeah,
role,
exactly.
and you're doing it in a really well, accessible and digestible way, which is fantastic. And
And I'm
obviously, it's
trying to
something
keep
for
it as
everyone.
professional as possible.
Yes,
But I
Pippa.
also want to know what.
Top
So
space
You want more
So-
topless videos,
Yeah.
man. Come on,
yeah, I
give
was
the people
going to
what they
say.
want.
So where are the neck? Is there room
getting into
for
summer
where
things,
you know
so-
I can see tattoos on your hands? What does
It's
that say on your
You've got the
fingers?
horseshoes.
And that's my tools. I've got a hammer, an
Nice.
anvil, a horseshoe, and a fire. But no, I've got quite a lot of tattoos. And to be honest, I only started getting tattooed because as a young farrier, I used to slip an awful lot. with my shoe when I was burning on. Do you know, like, so you burn on the foot and I'm like almost pressuring
So
a
you
bit.
got a
too-
lot of scars.
Yeah, so I had a lot of scars all up my arm, and they didn't look very good because I'm quite tanned and they were like quite pink. And I was like, and my
Do you
friend
not
was like,
think the
you can
war
just
wounds
tattoo
would be-
over scars, you know. I was like,
Yeah.
I'd rather have pretty pictures there than these awful scars. So I started getting tattooed, but obviously then I got a bit of a bug for it. As people do, you start getting one tattoo, you want 2, 3, 4. And I, apart from the hand, most of the rest of my tattoos you can't really see. I know we're like a little bit out there, but usually it'll work. You can't even really tell.
I don't feel like you're going to go into a city office job now.
because some of my ladies on the nice yards, I don't want to scare them when I get out with my tattoos. I feel like they'll run away.
I don't think you're going to scare the nice ladies. I think you're fine there, mate.
But I do love my tattoos.
Depends what your tattoos are.
Yeah. I've
Tools
got
of the trade.
a few gang
Well, I
tabs
can
on the
see
back.
that on his hand, but I'm certainly not getting a tattoo. Listen, I wasn't brave enough to even. I could hardly get my
They
ears
hurt.
pierced.
They hurt. You know,
Yeah.
the more I get done, the more it hurts.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Definitely an eye-opening
No,
podcast.
thanks for having me. You've been great.
An
Great
amazing
banner.
other part of the equestrian world for us to explore. So thank you so much. One thing I always like to ask our guests is kind of like whatever field they're from is kind of what inspiration and what advice you'd give to someone who would like to kind of pursue that career. So what advice would you give to a young aspiring farrier?
I would say just it'd be good to reach out to maybe a local farrier that you know and like just go offer to help and shadow him, gain some experience. And if you really want to do it, it's definitely doable, but you've just got to work really hard for it. Really hard for it.
It's been a common theme, you know, hard
Passion,
work,
dream.
passion, but that's, yeah.
You've got to be passion. Yeah, if you've got the passion for it, I want to say it's enjoyable. Even though it's hard work and it's stressful, but I love it. I do really love it, and I feel like people should all go get a job that they have a lot of passion about.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and obviously from an equestrian point of view, we couldn't do without you guys. You keep our horses on the road, and there's a great saying, no foot, no horse.
That's
Hey,
it. That's
there
it.
we go. I mean, it's amazing. And please keep pumping out the content because I'm engrossed.
Yeah, cool.
And people are learning so much, and it's amazing to kind of shine a spotlight on that part of the equestrian world. What a lovely chap.
I mean, fair play to him. I thought, you know, he clearly showed his passion for his trade, and showed the sort of care and the feeling he has towards the horses, and that's his priority.
Yeah.
So and also I was impressed very clearly. He said, you know, he's young and he's still got a lot to learn.
Very
And
humble
so,
man, yeah.
you know, from the Instagram, I think he absolutely, through his socials, he really has a good message, and it's a good way to put it out to the public.
I think it can only be a good thing. You know, he's marrying two worlds of kind of this old tradition of, you know, being a farrier in the correct way. You know, there's obviously a lot of skill and a lot of knowledge that goes into that, but then, you know, marketing it in a modern way with social media. And I think like marrying those two worlds together, if you have someone like Sam in the driving seat, can only be a good thing. You know, sharing the message and doing it
Absolutely.
and he takes his shirt off every now and then. And listen, I'm not complaining. I think I fancy him more than you do.
I think you possibly
I
did.
want to be his mate. He was awesome.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, why not subscribe and join our equestrian community?
And we want to hear from you. So make sure you follow us in all the usual places, TikTok, Instagram. The information is in the description of this podcast as well. And we want to hear your stories. So please do send them in. Anecdotes, horse stories, advice,
Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
all the usual places. We're everywhere now.
YouTube.
Yeah.
And our email is info@talk-horse.com.
Yes! We did it! Well done. So please do subscribe and join in the conversation because we've got a lot more horse to talk with you.
Bye for now.
Bye.